Chapter 6. Sense Control and Austerity, Mastering Inner and Outer Discipline. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses. And slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Bhagavad Gita 3.41. The Garden Gatekeeper. Why mental filters matter. Picture yourself as the security guard at an exclusive nightclub. Your job is to check ids at the door, letting in the right people while keeping out troublemakers who would ruin the atmosphere inside. This is exactly what Max Lucado means by picky thinking, being selective about which thoughts get VIP access to your mental space. Most of us live with completely unguarded minds. We let every random thought, worry, fantasy, or fear walk right in and set up camp. It's like leaving your front door wide open in a rough neighborhood and wondering why your house keeps getting robbed. Lucado's insight is profound but challenging. We need to become gatekeepers of our own consciousness. This means evaluating thoughts before they become deeply embedded, filtering them through truth rather than emotion, and choosing which mental visitors deserve our attention. The ancient Bhagavad Gita takes this concept even deeper, explaining not just why mental discipline matters, but how to develop the inner strength to maintain it consistently. The wild horses, understanding your inner landscape. The Bhagavad Gita uses a brilliant analogy we've touched on before, but let's dive deeper. Your senses are like powerful, spirited horses. They're not evil, they're designed to be strong and active. But without proper training and direction, they'll drag your mental chariot wherever they want to go, regardless of where you actually need to be. Think about your sense of sight. It's constantly scanning for interesting, stimulating, or threatening visuals. Your sense of hearing picks up every conversation, notification, and noise around you. Your sense of taste craves whatever will provide immediate pleasure. These aren't character flaws, they're natural functions. The problem comes when these powerful forces operate without intelligent guidance. It's like having a sports car with a broken steering wheel, all that power becomes dangerous rather than helpful. The ancient science of self-control. Here's where the Bhagavad Gita's approach becomes revolutionary. Instead of trying to suppress your senses, which rarely works long-term, it recommends giving them something so engaging and satisfying that they naturally lose interest in destructive pursuits. The higher taste principle. Imagine you've been eating fast food your entire life, then someone introduces you to gourmet cuisine prepared by a master chef. You don't have to force yourself to stop wanting McDonald's, the superior experience naturally makes the inferior option less appealing. This is what the text calls higher taste. When your senses are engaged in truly fulfilling activities, serving others, creating beauty, connecting with the divine. The temporary thrills that used to dominate your attention start feeling shallow and unsatisfying. Real-life example. The great saint Sri Yamunacharya described how, once his mind became absorbed in serving Krishna's lotus feet, the thought of material sense pleasures, including sexual gratification, became naturally distasteful. He didn't have to fight these desires, they simply lost their appeal when compared to the profound satisfaction of spiritual connection. The tortoise strategy. The Bhagavad Gita compares a self-controlled person to a tortoise that can withdraw its limbs into its shell when necessary, then extend them again for specific purposes. This isn't about becoming antisocial or avoiding life, it's about conscious choice rather than compulsive reaction. A tortoise doesn't keep its limbs withdrawn permanently, it uses them when needed and protects them when appropriate. Similarly, you can engage your senses purposefully rather than letting them run wild, constantly seeking stimulation. Intelligence as your inner CEO. Your intelligence is meant to function like the CEO of your inner world, making strategic decisions based on long-term values rather than short-term impulses. But most of us let our minds operate more like a chaotic committee where every thought gets equal voting power. The Bhagavad Gita describes purified intelligence as understanding what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating. This kind of clear discrimination doesn't come automatically, it requires training through regular study of wisdom literature. Just as a CEO needs accurate information to make good decisions, your intelligence needs regular input from sources of genuine wisdom rather than just entertainment or news cycles. Association with wise people. Your intelligence is shaped by the consciousness of people you spend time with. Consciously seeking out relationships with people who exemplify the qualities you want to develop. Consistent spiritual practice. Whether it's prayer, meditation, chanting, or contemplation, regular spiritual practice strengthens your capacity for clear thinking and wise decision-making. Practical applications. Ancient wisdom for modern problems. Let's look at how these principles apply to specific mental struggles that Lucado addresses. Dealing with anxiety. Lucado's approach. Replace worry with gratitude, prayer, and present moment trust. The Vedic edition. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that anxiety comes from trying to control outcomes that are ultimately beyond our control. When you understand that you're responsible for your effort but not for results, anxiety naturally decreases. A Krishna-conscious person becomes unaffected by the dualities of material existence, distress and happiness, cold and heat. This doesn't mean becoming emotionally numb, but rather developing what we might call stable inner weather, regardless of external storms. Practical step. Before engaging in any anxiety-provoking activity, take a moment to consciously offer the results to the divine. Do your best, but surrender the outcome. This simple shift can dramatically reduce performance anxiety and worry about the future. Overcoming guilt and shame. Lucado's approach. Accept forgiveness and let go of shame. The Vedic perspective. The text explains that engaging in devotional service naturally purifies consciousness, washing away the reactions from past mistakes. It's like taking a shower for your soul. The dirt of past actions gets cleansed through present spiritual practice. Practical step. Instead of endlessly replaying past mistakes, redirect that mental energy toward present service to others. Every moment spent helping someone else is a step toward psychological and spiritual healing. Handling lust and compulsive desires. Lucado's approach. Redirect attention to what is pure and avoid triggers. The Vedic understanding. The Bhagavad Gita identifies lust as a powerful, eternal enemy that covers pure consciousness like smoke covers fire. But rather than just trying to suppress it, the recommended approach is to transform it into love for the divine. When your deepest emotional and physical energies are channeled towards serving something infinitely beautiful and satisfying, lesser attractions naturally fade. It's not repression, it's redirection toward a higher love. Practical steps. Engage in activities that genuinely fulfill you rather than just distract you. Serve others in ways that use your natural talents and energies. Cultivate appreciation for beauty in nature, art, and human goodness. Practice gratitude for the positive relationships in your life. The power of sacred sound. One of the most practical tools the Bhagavad Gita offers for mental purification is the chanting of sacred names, particularly the Hare Krishna mantra. This might sound exotic, but the principle is universal. Sound has unique power to directly influence consciousness. Think about how a particular song can instantly change your mood, or how certain words can inspire or devastate you. Sacred sound carries even more transformative power because it connects you directly with the divine source through vibration. Why this works? It gives your restless mind a positive focus. It engages multiple senses simultaneously: hearing, speaking, breathing. It can be practiced anywhere, anytime. Results often come quickly, providing encouragement to continue. Making it practical. You don't need to become a full-time chanter to experience benefits. Try incorporating just a few minutes of mantra chanting into your daily routine, perhaps during walks, commutes, or before sleep. The community factor. You can't do this alone. Both Lucado's Christian approach and the Bhagavad Gita emphasize that spiritual growth happens best in community. Your consciousness is constantly being influenced by the people around you. You might as well make sure that influence is positive. The association principle. The text repeatedly emphasizes association with devotees as crucial for spiritual development. This doesn't mean you need to abandon your current relationships, but it does mean consciously seeking out people who support your highest aspirations. Practical applications. Join study groups focused on wisdom literature. Attend religious or spiritual services where people are genuinely seeking growth. Find volunteer opportunities where you can serve alongside like-minded people. Limit time with people who consistently drag your consciousness toward negativity, gossip, or harmful behaviors. Building your inner discipline, the practice. Real sense control isn't about willpower alone, it's about developing what the Bhagavad Gita calls constant practice, abhyasa, and detachment, vairagya. Constant practice. This means consistent effort without being discouraged by temporary failures. Like learning to play an instrument or master a sport, spiritual discipline develops gradually through regular practice rather than intense but sporadic efforts. Start small. Rather than trying to transform your entire life overnight, pick one area where you can practice conscious choice. Maybe it's what you watch, what you eat, how you speak to people, or how you spend the first few minutes after waking up. Detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. Rather, it means loosening your grip on outcomes and material acquisitions as sources of happiness. When you're less dependent on external circumstances for your peace of mind, you become much more internally stable. Practical detachment. Practice doing good things without needing recognition, giving without expecting specific returns, and finding satisfaction in the quality of your effort rather than just the results. The promise of inner freedom. The ultimate goal of sense control isn't to become a rigid, joyless person who's afraid of pleasure. It's to become truly free, free from compulsive behaviors, free from anxiety about outcomes, free from the exhausting need to constantly seek stimulation or avoid discomfort. When your senses are trained to serve your highest values rather than just seeking immediate gratification, life becomes more satisfying rather than less. It's like the difference between being driven around randomly by a taxi with a drunk driver versus driving yourself confidently toward a destination you actually want to reach. Making it real, your daily practice. Here's how to begin implementing these principles practically. Morning intention. Start each day by consciously choosing your mental focus rather than immediately checking your phone or diving into reactive mode. Sensory fasting. Periodically give your senses a rest from overstimulation, spend time in nature without devices, eat simple foods mindfully, listen to silence. Service opportunities. Look for ways to use your natural talents and energies in service to others rather than just self-gratification. Evening reflection. End each day by reviewing how well you managed your mental and sensory choices, without harsh self-judgment but with honest assessment. Study and community. Regularly engage with wisdom literature and seek out relationships that support your spiritual growth. The path of sense control and inner discipline isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming conscious. Every moment you choose awareness over reactivity, service over selfishness, and truth over convenience, you're building the inner strength that leads to genuine freedom and lasting peace. Your senses can become powerful allies rather than unruly enemies. Your mind can become a peaceful sanctuary rather than a chaotic battlefield. The key is patient, consistent practice guided by wisdom that has been tested by countless seekers throughout history. The question isn't whether this transformation is possible, it's whether you're ready to begin treating your consciousness with the care and intentionality it deserves.